welcome to my how-to series of how to do a press release, and we will move on to a number of other writing pieces that I've learned this semester, and hopefully be able to teach you the how to do it on your own. So first and foremost, I'd like to thank Professor Mike Long from the Georgetown PRCC program, who's been the one who's taught me everything I'm about to review, and I just want to say that it's been by far my favorite class, one that I thought I would know everything in, but was I wrong? So many wonderful pieces taken from your instruction, or from Mike Long's instruction, that I had no idea. So I know that this will make me a better writer, a better public affairs officer, and I appreciate it. So moving on to our first how-to, I'm going to have you do one thing for me, and just where you got the YouTube video, I'm going to have and ask you to pull up the file that's with the video, and it should be named press release. Because what we're going to do is walk you through the format of writing a proper press release, and then have you look at the press release that I posted up there, which is the one that I wrote myself, and correlate the instructions to the actual press release. That way you also have an example in front of you. So first, why do we need a press release? Why would we ever need a press release? I think that, and I'm going to hopefully follow the theme of summarizing and giving you information in a brief format. So really, it's to get a reporter's and editor's attention. That's what we want. We need an attention grabber. It is bait for reporters, as I've heard it before, and we want them to call us. We have the story, and we want them to come to us. So in a brief format, in a very much summarized way, you give them as much information, factual information about the event, about the incident, about the action, about whatever it is that you are announcing or telling in your press release, for them to call you back. So that is what it's for, and all writing begins with a plan. So now that you have the press release in front of you, I want you to take a look at it and notice things like the for immediate release. So that's one of the first things you need to identify. Is this for something that's already happened? Is this for something that will be happening in the upcoming hours, days? What is this event? What is this thing that you're announcing? So we're going to start with the format, and as you look at it, and I have a copy here for myself of the one that you're looking at on your screen, you have for immediate release, and then you also have your contact information. Do not forget your contact information. This is how they will reach out to you. So contact, in this case, Tania P. Donovan, myself. You have the date. You don't want to mislead people with not having the date or confuse them. Again, is this an event that already happened 2-3 days ago or a week ago? Or is this announcement going out today for something that's happening tomorrow? Maybe a little bit more relevant, maybe a little bit more of interest to them. And then you'll see my number. So you want them to reach you via either a telephone or an email address. I have both, and I suggest that you too include both. And now we move on to the format of the press release. So the first thing that you see up there in bold is the so what. You see what we're going to call the heading, and that is basically what is your client, your agency, your organization, whoever you're working for, whoever you're writing this press release for, what are they doing? That is the guess what. And you have, in a short form, have to describe the what. What is happening? Is it an announcement? Is it a promotion? Is it a graduation? Is it more than likely it'll be an announcement of some sort, but this is your so what. So keep that in mind. It's very short and centered. Then we move on to the subheading. So the subheading will answer your so what to that first heading, to the first question. It'll answer the question by offering interesting details of the event, and they don't have to be necessarily very closely related. They just have to be related to the event. So in mine, for example, my heading is Georgetown University announces new assistant dean and Department of Advanced Studies. Something is happening. It is an announcement of a new assistant dean in the Department of Advanced Studies. You have the what, you have the who, we already have the when, and then we move on to that subheading, which offers, in this case, 3 separate facts about that announcement. And in this case, they are: award-winning screenwriter brings years of experience to the university. That's 1. Author and strategist. That's 2. And will oversee management of the department. That's 3. And I want you to pay close attention, because the way I'm saying it may not be exactly the way that is written here, but I'm summarizing, and I'm explaining the what it is, the subheading. The subject will carry over, and again, you're dividing these ideas into separate ones. So, but they're all directly connected to your heading. Then we move on to this first, what you might call the first paragraph right here. And we have the location. This is a single sentence paragraph that describes what you want to be publicized. And really what you're doing is you're restating the headline in prose and leading with the absolute or relative date. So what is that date? Was it today? In this case, you can see that I have Washington, D.C. That is where it took place. That's the location of where the event takes place. And I have today, comma, Georgetown University announced that they have appointed Michael Long, comma, former director of writing for master's program in public relations at Georgetown University, comma, to be the next assistant dean in the Department of Advanced Studies. So I'm restating in one sentence that first heading. It's short, it's brief, and it's to the point. So then we move on to the next paragraph, which is the second, and really expands to 2 to 3 sentences about the subheading. So it's all connected. It is a short paragraph with no more than, like I just said, 2 to 3 sentences, and it provides details of the announcement that you're making as a restatement in prose of the subhead. So here in this case we have Long, the professor, comma, a lecturer, professor, and designer of curriculum in the master's program at Georgetown University, comma, is an award-winning screenwriter, author, and strategist. So you see what we did? We just combined those 2 points that you made in your subheading, and you expanded on them. You connected them, and you wrote about them. So, and then we go, he has years of experience working in business, government, nonprofits, and policy. Long will supervise management in the Department of Advanced Studies. It's all the information we already stated, just in 2 to 3 sentences. So there you have your second. And then we go on to the third. The third paragraph contains a quote, and this is this is probably my favorite piece of the whole press release, just because you can add a little bit more of perspective. You're offering an informed opinion. You're offering something that's subjective to the incident or to the event. And what you need to keep in mind is that the first quote extends no longer than 2/3 of that first sentence. So it has to be a short opening, so keep that in mind. You don't want to go on and cover the first 2 sentences of that third paragraph with a quote. It has to be brief, and it has to offer a view into this particular person's perspective or opinion or whatever it is. So in this case, we have the president of Georgetown University, John DeGoya, gave a quote saying, "We couldn't have asked for anyone better." That's it. That is as far as that quote is going. We state who said the quote, and then we continue the quote at the bottom. So there's nothing wrong with that. Let's see, the middle of the press release is really also where you offer something of value. So you're going to start connecting, following that quote, make sure that it connects to another piece of information that only you would know, and that the reporter might be looking for of interest. So, oh, I didn't know about that. That's kind of the reaction you want. You want them to keep reading. You want them to, they've already made it this far, which is great. So give them something of value that they can put in the paper, and that it's not redundant, that it's not something that you've already said before, but that it's new to them, something that is fresh. And then really we move on to the last paragraph, where you mention the main point in passing, but you attach it to yet another new detail. So in this case, I've added, Long received his master's in general physics from the University of Vanderbilt in Nashville, and his BS in physics. And then I close it off by offering, Long, whose tenure begins in October, will celebrate 10 years with the university this fall. Well, it's all relevant because that adds to the credentials of Professor Long, who, as we tie it to the heading, has been announced as a new assistant dean in the Department of Advanced Studies, but also something fresh, something that we wouldn't have known if it hadn't been for this press release that you are offering. So let's see. So we have that. We have the heading. We've covered the subheading. We've covered that the first paragraph has a location. And then the second paragraph is 2 to 3 sentences about your subheading. Then we move on to our third paragraph, which contains a quote of an informed opinion, no longer than 2/3 of your first sentence. You can expand on it later on or after that first sentence, but not in the first sentence. And then you offer something of value that the reporter wouldn't otherwise have. And then last, you close off your press release by restating your heading and a fresh detail of something you didn't offer before. Now, again, this is on the webpage where you found this video. And last tips. Tips number 1, don't make up any information. Don't make up facts when you're writing a press release. Go with facts only. 2, stick to the template. You can't go wrong if you stick to the template and you follow these the basic rules that I just went over. And 3, don't overdo it. So 1 page, 2 page if you absolutely have to, 2 page max. Not sure that we recommend that. Really, a press release should be half a page to a page in order to keep that reporter, that editor's attention, or because it's the pitch that you're making. So, thank you for watching, and click on the other videos of how to complete your ratings. Thank you.